I used to live with my brother in a suburban area just outside of a major city. At the time this happened, I didn't have a license, so the city's public transportation system was my primary resource for getting to and from. This particular night I had decided to stay late at a party that a close friend was having in the city. The bus I needed to transfer to in order to make the 15-minute ride home from my final station stopped running hours before I would arrive there. And so the plan was that I would catch the train back to the station and that I would catch a ride back home with my brother. He worked late hours and his job was only 10 minutes from the station. We figured that he would actually be able to arrive there before my train did, and so things seemed as though they would work out perfectly. I was a few stops away from my final station when my brother called to let me know that he was running behind and I would need to wait at the station for him to arrive. When it gets late, stations outside of the city are pretty much deserted. I was the only person on my car, and I could see that the two cars on either side of mine were also empty. At this point, I'm just thinking, shit. I've ran into my fair share of creeps on the train and heard stories about women attacked during early or late hours when there aren't many people around. I was already starting to feel anxious, but I decided that I would wait upstairs on the train platform since I knew there would be trains coming and going and at least a few people getting off each time. There was a tall guy lingering on the platform when my train arrived. A couple of people on cars further off from mine got off and headed down the escalator to leave. I went and sat on a bench and called my brother to see where he was, but he didn't answer, so I sent him a text letting him know that I made it to the station. After I put my phone in my bag, the tall man got up and walked past my bench. I have a tendency to pace around on train platforms when I'm waiting for mine to arrive, and so when he started walking back and forth in front of me, I figured he just had the same habit. Then he started looking at me. Another train ended up coming but going in the opposite direction, and he didn't get on after a few people got off. This didn't make sense. He didn't get on the train that I had gotten off of, and now he wasn't getting on the train going in the only other direction there would have been to go in. I decided to go downstairs and wait. Surprise, surprise, he followed me. I pulled out my phone and called my brother again, but it went to voicemail. I pretended that he had answered the phone and played it up, making it seem like he had said he was in the parking lot. I made it look like I was walking that way, thinking this would shake the dude off, but he started walking slowly in the same direction. I knew that I couldn't keep up the charade when there was no car there for me to get into, and so I made the split decision to cut towards the bathroom and just hide out there. I went into the stall and called my brother again. He didn't answer. I hear the bathroom door open, and then the sound of someone going into a stall. My brother finally called, and I told him everything that had happened. He said that he was pulling into the station, but I didn't feel safe, so I asked him to come to the bathrooms and call once he was outside the door. Seconds after I hung up, I hear the sound of a stall door flying open, and the person who had been in there with me scrambling out of the bathroom. It took me a little bit to register what had happened, but I knew it had to have been the man. I realized that I never heard the sound of a person in the stall peeing or flushing the toilet. Nothing. My brother came in a few minutes after that, and I was a nervous wreck asking if he had seen anyone on his way to me. He reassured me that he didn't see anyone, and we got the hell out of there. I jumped to get my license as soon as I could, and I haven't used public transportation in years. I should have reported what happened the next day, and sometimes I feel guilty about that, but at the time I just wanted to get the incident as far out of my head as possible. If you ride public transport late at night, please be safe. I live about 5 minutes away from a 7-Eleven, so whenever I have a few bucks I go there to either get some chicken or junk food. On this particular day, I was heading off to work at around 6 a.m., so it was pretty light out. I arrived there and saw two employees around a guy dressed in dirty clothes. I could hear yelling and swearing, so I quickly went inside to get some chicken and a Slurpee. I was inside talking to one of the cashiers who I was pretty good friends with. Then the dirty clothes guy came inside and flashed a smile at me. Not a creepy one, just a smile. I smiled back and saw the two employees walk back in looking, well, normal. They didn't look mad or annoyed or anything. I paid for my stuff and walked outside, and on my way to my car I hear, "Hey sweetie, come here," or something like that. I stop and turn around, and guess who's there? Dirty clothes guy. I smile and say hi and rush to my car, hoping this guy who's either drunk or on drugs will just go away. But no, he comes to my car and taps on the passenger seat window. I turn to him and he's trying to open my luckily locked door. I give him the middle finger and drive off. About 20 minutes later, I'm on the highway heading to my job in Toronto. I open my window since it's about 120 degrees in my car and I see this car beside me. It's a Rolls-Royce with tinted windows. I'm looking at the car, then the window rolls down. I'm thinking, great, either this guy caught me staring at him and he's mad, or he's gonna hit on me while we're both friggin' driving. And it's Dirty Clothes Guy, driving a Rolls-Royce? Wonderful. I instantly pull up my window and turn my air on and drive on. I arrive at my job at around 7:30ish and tell my coworker who I'm really close with about it. He just laughs it off and asks if I want him to pick me up tomorrow. I say no and make jokes about the car and stuff. I really didn't realize how severe this was. Like, the guy was legit following me, but I guess that didn't come to mind. I'm starting to pack up at around 3:30 and we all leave together to the parking lot. And the Rolls-Royce is in a parking spot. At this point, I'm freaked out and tell the story to my other coworkers, and we all get the plate number and write it down. Dirty Clothes Guy gets out of the car, just stands there, and smiles at us. The coworker I'm very close with starts screaming at him. The guy doesn't seem to care and yells, "I'll slit all your throats, huh." We threatened to call the police, and at that point he hopped into his car and left. We waited at the workplace for a couple of hours, filing a report and providing plate numbers and descriptions. Turns out the car was stolen from a man who I won't name to provide his safety. They found Dirty Clothes Man in his house with his wife. Turns out he was a registered sex offender and had been in jail 2 times for sexual assault. His trial is in 2 months, but I won't be testifying. Just another normal day in this insane city. So weird 7-Eleven dirty clothes creep, let's not meet. Again. This happened a couple of days ago. For reference, I'm a 17-year-old female in Australia and I live a half-hour drive out of town. It was about 10:30 p.m. and I had just finished work. I was on the closing shift and it was a Tuesday night, so naturally it was dead and nobody was around. I was driving home alone, and I was stuck behind this four-wheeler thing and needed to get in the next lane. He was indicating but wasn't actually going anywhere, so I indicated and overtook him into the next lane over. As I was level with him, he began veering towards me, and all I could think was how much it was going to cost to fix that. So I slammed my hand on the horn and made a "the fuck bro" gesture as I passed him. In an awkward coincidence, the lights turned red and we stopped side by side. He motioned for me to put my window down and I did so. I was about to apologize, but I didn't even get a word out before he started screaming at me. He called me a cunt, a fucking bitch, and a stupid fucking pea peddler mongrel, and then threatened to ram into my ass on the motorway. I was tired, it was late, and I couldn't be bothered with him, so I just rolled my eyes at him and rolled the window back up while he was talking. That royally pissed him off. He turned bright red and I saw him reaching down to open his car door. I panicked and floored it through the red lights onto the motorway. I thought I was alright for a second, but I saw him in my mirror speeding up behind me. He was clearly speeding to catch up to me. Since I was going like 10K over the limit, he had his high beams on and kept flashing them. He was right up behind me and I could only think about what he'd said about crashing into me, so I tried to go a little faster. I was looking for his number plates in the mirror so I could report him, but either the lights were too bright for me to see or there was nothing there at all, and there was no way in hell I was going to stop after that performance before. I finally got off the motorway. He was still behind me and I was a little paranoid that he was following me, even though the motorway only really led to one area. It could have still been a coincidence, so I pulled into the nearest street and he was still behind me, so I promptly did a U-turn, and when I did, the guy did as well. I realized he was absolutely following me. I was about 20 minutes away from home at this point and I didn't want to lead him anywhere near my house, so I decided on a split-second decision to go to the nearest police station to hopefully get him off my ass. Unfortunately, the nearest police station closed at 9:30 and I only ended up pulling into a dark, empty car park. I pulled over facing the entrance so I could see if he had followed me. I didn't see him coming in, thankfully, and I figured he chickened out once he saw the police station. I debated calling the cops, since I didn't think I was in any danger anymore. That was until I noticed out of the corner of my eye a certain white four-wheeler slowly creeping up on my left with its lights off. Once again, I panicked and floored it out of the car park and back towards the main road. I had no idea where I was going, no intention to pull over, and no clue who to call. I was going in the complete opposite direction of my house. I eventually spotted a nice, brightly lit patrol station and pulled into there, parking as close to the doors as I possibly could. I jumped out, frantically waved my arms around at the doors. When I was let in, I started screaming at the poor lady at the register to lock the doors and that someone was following me. I was absolutely terrified, but thankfully she was quick on the uptake and locked the doors. I realized I'd left my phone in the car, but she offered to call the police. I was keeping an eye on the road outside while the clerk called the cops. I absolutely saw that car drive past, but he didn't come in. The clerk waited with me for the cops to show up, and eventually they did. It was almost 11 by the time they got there. I had literally never been happier to see a cop car in my life. They asked me to describe the guy in the four-wheeler and asked for the registration. I gave them what I could and one of them drove me home. I haven't heard any follow-ups from anyone, but it was absolutely terrifying. Enough so that I asked to be taken off night shifts for a little while. I've only been driving a little under a year, but honestly, I don't think anything is going to top that experience. If people are interested, I'll definitely update if I hear anything about the guy. Hey guys, thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Nightmare Army. I'm always looking for new soldiers in my Nightmare Nation. So guys, I do want to apologize about the video if in one of the stories I'm going a little bit too fast with the narration. I do apologize about that. It's just I was having an incredibly busy day today, and I was just trying to get this video out as quick as possible. So I do apologize for that. I am sorry. And there won't be a Friday video tomorrow, just because I'm going to be going into the city with some family members, and unfortunately it wasn't up to me to choose. If it were up to me, I'd be doing a Friday video for you guys. So I am really sorry about that also. But I will be uploading Monday through Friday next week. I can promise you guys that, with a no sleep scary story on Friday. I got a perfect one picked out for you guys, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. As always, guys, thank you all for watching, and just remember, the best ideas always come out of nightmares.